I find that single women use this as a metric on compatibility, and it drives me absolutely crazy as a matchmaker. And I think that so many are using this in a way that prevents them from finding love.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and today we are taking a look at modern women keeping themselves single. Don't forget to drop a comment, make sure you subscribe if you are new here, and let's jump into it.
I have seen recently more and more female professional matchmakers expressing their frustrations with matching people and or just blatantly quitting because they feel like, some people have unrealistic expectations. In your experience, who do you think is more difficult to match successfully, men or women?
And sisters, don't beat me up because I love y'all. But women do have more unrealistic expectations. And honestly, when you're successful, you get to do everything you want. You get to choose the house you want. You get to choose the car you want. You get to customize your life. And here's one area that I feel like they try to customize and it's difficult.
Modern women see matchmakers as relationship genies, not as actual people. We've actually seen so many videos of female matchmakers just straight up giving up on modern women. That's how bad it is.
The mating marketplace right now, we're in a time where we have an oversupply of successful women in the mating marketplace.
Wait, one more time. An oversupply of successful women?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the worst place for a young working woman who wants to reproduce to live would be New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, any big urban center, because she is surging ahead in her education, in her money. The men are, because, and I should say, the other piece of sociology is that when you put sex out into the culture in high supply, which is happening because women can now enjoy their bodies' pleasures for their own sake. They don't need marriage to have sex.
It is that very same promiscuity that has pretty much guaranteed these women to remain single.
They don't need to market their vaginas as sign me up so you'll take care of me. And what happens to a culture when there's so much easy, free sex? Men lose ambition. Men sit at home in their mom's basement and play games and text into a hookup any night of the week. And so the women are upset because the men aren't achieving. But it's actually the preponderance of sex in the culture that's creating the loser guys. Loser in there. So my advice to those women all the way is stop going after your idea of a power man. Your idea of a power man might just be a guy who can power a stroller.
Men have seen the behavior of modern day women, and a lot of men have simply decided, you know what, that isn't for us.
Look at those blue collar workers, those electricians and plumbers and guys who are fixing your roads who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Stop being an elitist. Start thinking about what your family needs if you want to create a healthy nest for kids.
A lot of modern women will scoff at the idea of marrying a blue-collar man. There's no quote-unquote prestige behind it, so a lot of them just aren't interested.
Something I've observed in my matchmaking business is that women who are smart, independent, and successful tend to struggle the most in their dating lives. And I believe this is because of hypergamy, which basically means that women tend to want to date up. They want someone who's superior to them financially and in status and in IQ. And so what happens is the more money a woman makes and the more independent she becomes, the more her dating pool shrinks, because the pool of men that she is going to be attracted to is going to be smaller. But the problem is men date based on a different criteria.
The options are actually even smaller because the men that they actually want do not desire them at all, at least in terms of a relationship. They might have their fun, but insofar as getting a relationship out of these men, I mean, good luck to you.
Men are not dating women based on their wealth. They're not dating women based on their IQ. They're dating them based on, is she going to be a good mother to my kids? Is she nurturing? Does she make me feel like a man? Is she attractive? And so you have this imbalance. And it becomes a bigger problem as women get older, because then they start competing with women who are 5, 10, 15 plus years younger than them. And again, because men are not dating off the same values and criteria, it makes it harder for them to find a mate. And I think this stems from a few different things. One being feminism. The road to hell was paved with good intention. I don't think feminism is a bad thing, but I do think it's unsurprising that the more independent women have become, the more childless and single they've stayed. And also the destruction of the family nucleus. As divorce rates started to rise, you had more moms telling their daughters, don't ever put yourself in a position where you have to depend on a man. And was the juice worth the squeeze? Let me know what you think in the comments and follow me for more.
These women can't actually name one good thing that feminism has brought into their lives at all.
Our generation has become so sick. We have turned the most beautiful thing, finding a partner, into something so ugly that we now think you can form a deep, genuine connection with anyone. There are billions of people in this world. You can always find someone hotter, smarter, richer, better body, taller, more fit, whatever you're looking for, younger. But you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find that connection that you built with someone special. You're not going to find that in everyone.
Women like that don't want a connection. They want something that is quite literally impossible.
And that's what we are taking for granted in today's dating world. Just because you see a hotter person pop up on your screen. Building a connection is saying, hey, I love what I have with this person. I'm going to make it work. And I don't care who comes by, they're not going to interrupt this bond, because this bond is special and bonds cannot be replaced. So yes, you can replace the physical body. You can replace something better looking, but you cannot replace the soul connection that you have. And some of you need to just sleep on that. That's all.
I don't think you can have a connection with a woman who is just considering you as replaceable. It's that simple.
I find that single women use this as a metric on compatibility, and it drives me absolutely crazy as a matchmaker. And I think that so many are using this in a way that prevents them from finding love. I'm Kat. I'm a matchmaker, dating coach, and host of Dear Matchmaker podcast. And I'm gonna share something that just happened recently with my matchmaking client, in which I'm trying to help him find matches. And I got this correspondence from her. Okay, so here's the email that I got from her. She says, in my dating experience, I'm seldom attracted to anyone under 5'10".
In my dating experience has to be a phrase that just raises countless red flags right off the bat to me, because that's what you want to hear from your future wife or girlfriend, right? In my dating experience. How insane.
Even then, I'm bending, but understand it's an average height and I'm okay with it. So, first off, 5'10" is not the average height of a man. Second, she's 5'4". So let me just share you some facts about men's height. According to the CDC, the average height of a man in America is 5'9". So when women have this stipulation that a man can't even have an average height, she's already eliminating a good majority of the dating pool.
It's strange to see women like this assume that a man's height is an accurate measure of character, but let's be honest, at this point, I'm just not even surprised. It's actually incredibly common. If you're a tall guy, magically you're just going to be more charismatic.
Now, here's where it gets even a little bit more trickier. One of the key metrics I hear in this office all the time is that the man must be 6 feet. Now, I know there's a little bit of a difference between 5'10" and 6 feet. She didn't put 6 feet in the email, but I know that's exactly probably what she meant. And so here are some stats about that. All right, so the United States, according to the Google, that 14.5% of men in the United States are 6 feet. Now this is all men in America, 14.5% are 6 feet.
Let's be real, they can't even tell the difference between 6 feet and 5'10" anyway. A lot of the time, it's merely a status symbol. The women don't know what being 6 foot actually even looks like.
So, out of that 14.5, we narrow it down even more to geographically. Is he near you? To his age. Is he around your age range? To the other criteria that women have as far as career and as far as education, and as far as children and goals and aspirations and values. And then to top it all off, he needs to be into you, right? So a man has to fit all of this criteria and then has to be also interested in you.
That's a detail that a lot of modern women love to overlook. They just assume that all men want them. And then also they don't consider that, okay, let's just assume that the grand majority of men actually do, hypothetically. Well, what are the odds that you can get a marriage out of them? And that's a very, very different question. Women confuse this all the time. They confuse attention with actual interest and their relationship options with men.
So when I hear women complain about how there's no good men out there, and then I ask them about this criteria that they have, To me, they have set themselves up for complete failure, complete impossibilities due to these ridiculous metrics that they have put on what they are seeking in a potential partner. Is he compassionate? Is he kind? Is he empathetic? Is he understanding? Is he the type of man who's willing to be there, your ultimate cheerleader, to be able to support you and encourage you? And does he have passions and goals and dreams? All these kinds of things. But no, is he 6 feet? Please.
Apparently, being a good boyfriend or husband is just completely meaningless unless you're tall while doing it.
How hard is it to deal with so many girls that have ridiculous standards that don't necessarily qualify for the man that they think they do?
What do you tell them? I usually tell them you have two choices. You either self-improve or you lower your expectations. Those are the choices.
And we know chicks aren't going to self-improve because they're special.
But she paid for the first date. She put out.
What the fuck?
She put out. And she's also just lost her job. And she is 5'3" and 180 pounds. You need to be losing 60 pounds in the next 12 months if you want this kind of man, as an anecdotal guy, to wife you, right? Otherwise, he's not going to take you seriously. You are the easy chick. And that is the reality. So I'm straightforward that way. But that's part of, you either self-improve or you lower your expectations. That's the...
Both of those options are deeply insulting to modern women. That's why they don't want to choose at all.
So I don't recommend dating down. They always bite the hand that feed you and they get resentful. Stop dating down. Do not date potential. Date what they have now because that's all you're getting. So they can nurture you and take care of you and love you and grow with you. It's not the other way around. Who's like giving this information? It blows my mind. Where are the parents in all this?
I think that their mindset is that a woman is supposed to bring that peaceful feminine energy so they can go out there and be like, the brutalists and super masculine and whatever. In their mind, they're the super alpha male.
You gotta love how she's just assuming that she knows how men think. She clearly never bothered asking men or actually thinking about this properly.
I think that's why they say that.
But what about, look, if women are in a constant state of fear all the time. If you don't make her feel relaxed and her nervous system's resets to a state of calm, how is she going to make you feel calm? Like, you got to stop putting it on the women. I'm done with that stuff. I'm not blaming women anymore. It's a lot has to do with men. And I know they're going to come for me because I'm a woman, but I study both sides of the street and I analyze. I look what's going on. I listen to my community and I get DMs to the cows come home all day long.
So in other words, she investigated herself and then found no evidence of any wrongdoing. Absolute classic, isn't it?
No, I think that you're actually right, Patty. And even if for the members of my Christian audience that would be looking at this from a biblical perspective, I think you are correct, because when we talk about like a husband is supposed to lead with love, you have to love your wife first so that then she feels comfortable kind of like, being under your headship. Like if you are not loving her and being gentle with her and kind and patient.
Men are just sick and tired of being blamed for this garbage. I mean, accountability doesn't even exist here for them.
Women are going crazy, guys, because they can't figure out why you're not going up to them anymore. Guys' eyes are wide open now, right? They're wide open. And they're starting to say, well, you know what? I used to think it was worth it for me to just put myself out there all the time because, I wanted to take a girl out. But now I'm realizing you got the gold diggers, you got the women who want the free meal, you got the women who expect me to do everything, but in return want to do nothing. You got women who are saying, what do you bring to the table? But when you ask them, they get insulted.
I don't understand how you can demonize men for decades and then expect, for there not to be obvious consequences. It makes no sense.
You got women who you can't even talk. You talk about, you had 400 boyfriends before and you slept with all of them. They get defensive. Maybe I just don't need to pursue women right now at all. That's what's happening. And I'm not saying that's good, by the way, because ultimately I'm someone who believes in, men and women complementing each other when men are in their masculine and women are in their feminine and coming together and making a big, beautiful family. But this is the reality that's happening right now. And I understand why. Guys have had enough. So ladies, you want it to change. Instead of making a stupid TikTok video and complaining about it, act different.
That is easier said than done. Too many modern women are too far gone to quote unquote act different.
Act different. Look at your life and say, am I prioritizing stuff that guys don't give a lick about? And then complaining that they don't give a lick about me? Have some self-reflection in the game. Is my attitude shitty? Did I make 4 TikTok videos, ripping on a guy the other day that I went out with, and now other guys are looking at that saying, I'm not going to be, I'm not getting in line for this one. Self-reflect instead of bitching about it. Oh, well, he doesn't want me because he doesn't appreciate a woman who makes a salary.
It's easier at this point for modern women to just kind of blame the world or their city or the universe or God or whatever than accept that they made really bad choices.
It is very hard to communicate facts without your interpretation of them or how people feel. I'm saying men will walk away, and men will walk away for 2 reasons. Number 1 reason, the quality of wives is too low. The women are too overweight. Not all. The women are too overweight. The women are too slutty. And the women, there's just not enough quality wives.
A lot of men chose peace over dealing with damaged women who will insist on treating men like garbage anyway. You can be a fantastic guy, you can do everything right, and unfortunately a lot of modern day women will still treat you terribly.
You know, Aaron Clary broke down the numbers that Michael Knowles, he was kind of disputing them in our debate. But Aaron Clary did a whole video you can look up on his channel. It's from the Book of Numbers, going through how they got the 5% of women are marriageable stat.
It's insane, but it's actually unsurprising that only 5% of women out there are considered legitimate marriage material. I actually think the number is just straight up even less, and if you're going to be real about it, I don't think marriage at all is a good idea for men whatsoever.
How radical are young people getting? More radical by the day. After COVID, my idea that we're going to have some kind of revolution really faded pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I don't think we're going to have some, 1776 revival here.
1789? I hope not.
Let's hope not. Yeah, I don't want to go on the guillotine either. But I think more and more what's going to happen is people are going to check out. We're already seeing this, right? We hear people, men walking away from the workforce, walking away from forming families. We're going to keep eating out the center of what actually holds our society up. We think it's abstract ideas. What it actually is young men going out, working, forming families, finding, worthy women, creating families, building societies together. That's what actually holds these things up. And it's all going to haul out from the center. And you can't import foreigners fast enough to solve this problem for you. And so what we're going to end up with is if we don't take radical action, I don't think it's some kind of armed rebellion. What we're going to see is a society that falls apart from the inside.
Men checking out was inevitable at this point. The alternatives just were too unreasonable, I think.
What I'm trying to get at here is each of you, when we talk about which choice you'd make, like the career or the babies, we've asked this before, and I'll let you keep going around, but usually it ends up being, well, I'm going to do what makes me happy. And if humanity dies, it dies. But men don't ever even really get that choice. Men don't ever even contemplate that. Men are like, well, the world needs to be built. Men don't get value just from being cute.
Men are expected to work themselves to death, but somehow modern women have it harder. Make it make sense.
You guys could do nothing. You could just sit there, and every word that comes out of your mouth can be absolutely R-worded, and you can be total airheads and be totally good for nothing. And as long as you're cute, some man is going to love you and pay your bills and give you whatever you want and do whatever he needs to do to make you happy. Men don't have that. Men have to provide value, or nobody gives a shit about them. And even when they do provide value, people still don't give a shit about them.
It really doesn't take all that much to show appreciation to a man, but these women will just refuse to do that.
I put makeup on just for this date, so it better go well. And I'm not posting this, probably, if it doesn't. It did not go well. Truthfully, it lasted less than 2 minutes. I walked up, he gave me a hug and said, "Are you hungry? Let's go inside." We went inside. He said, "Actually, can you step outside for a minute?" I stepped back outside, and he said, "I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just not feeling it." So I walked to my car, came back home. Dating when you're fat sucks.
Imagine if a man were to make this video, okay? He would obviously be mocked, but because she's a woman, she gets pity.
Comply, goodbye. That's how it goes. Now, if you want to take my advice and listen to me, cool. If you don't, fine. You'll stay single for a couple more years.
I know it sounds harsh, but what he's saying is most women never tell you this in person. They'll be like, you know what?
Nah, bro.
You're amazing. I love you, da-da-da.
And that
lie.
attitude, that attitude of I'm not going to change, or I don't care what men want, I only want what I want, you're cooked, bro. You're never going to get a guy to
but
take
I
you
never
seriously.
said that I wasn't going to change, and we had this conversation earlier. I just said in this moment that right now I'm doing me. Straight up.
She's the type of woman who demands that men, change to be with her while she doesn't change a damn thing.
And that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, you asked.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Why are you getting so angry right now?
I am doing me is stupid.
Why are you getting so, whatever?
I'm not mad. I'm just
You're
telling you.
just getting super aggressive.
No,
if my man wants me to do something different, then I'm going to do something different. I don't know why you're
you
saying
ain't
that.
gonna get them. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I am not worried about that. Like, I'm genuinely not. I get asked on like a daily, weekly basis if I want to be someone's wife.
She's using random DMs as living proof that her options will forever be unlimited. And again, by the way, I want to stress that there's a very large difference between getting attention from men and actually getting marriage out of them.
You can be in love and be really unhappy. Having a relationship that's causing you constant anxiety, constant heartache, constant pain, feeling overlooked, not feeling important. You can be in love and all of those things still be true. How crazy is that?
If this heartbreak were truly real, it wouldn't be staged on TikTok with quotes and sad music in the background. Nobody genuinely broken pulls out a camera, they process it in private.
She seems more concerned with TikTok sympathy than dealing with the realities of the breakup. But again, this is absolutely classic for these people. If you would like to get early access to videos, weekly lectures, and case study breakdowns of human behavior, make sure you check out the members area link below in the video description. Otherwise, make sure to click on one of these videos on screen now if you enjoyed. Make sure you take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.